11.3% of the population in America has diabetes. 1.4 million Americans are diagnosed with diabetes every year. The medical cost per year is $237 billion. Diabetes, it's everywhere. This is the Embrace Podcast. Diabetes is everywhere. It affects all age groups, all ethnicities, all walks of life. And on this show, we talk about diabetes awareness, current events and news, tips, advice, motivation. We'll speak with guest speakers. Welcome to the family. This is the Embrace Podcast.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Embrace Podcast. And today I'm especially excited, man. We're starting a new series, the Parenting Masterclass series. We are going to be going through everything that you need to know about diabetes. And this series is geared specifically towards parents of newly diagnosed diabetics, but it can also be enjoyed by people living with diabetes. It can also be enjoyed by parents who have a child with diabetes who have been living with diabetes for quite some time. I promise you, by the end of this series, you're going to be hearing some new things that you haven't heard before. You're going to learn some new things. There's a lot of tips, advice, some personal stories about my journey. And I'm just really excited to get into this with you and learn together, because I think it is a pretty shared experience that when we are diagnosed, we spend a few days in the hospital and then we're out. We get told this news that our life is going to change forever, but we feel like we don't have the tools that we need to actually fight this thing, man. When I was first diagnosed, it felt like life chewed us up and spit us back out, and we were just left to figure it all out on our own. Me and my mom and my dad were just given this news, and pretty much they said, hey, good luck. You need to test your blood sugar, take some insulin. Other than that, figure it out. And man, my life has been about figuring it out, man. I've learned things about diabetes the easy way and the hard way. I've learned a lot of these things to experience, and my goal is to rid you guys of the bad experiences that I had to learn the hard way to, better manage my diabetes. So that's the whole point of this series. I want you to feel empowered and confident to lead your child into embracing their diabetes and owning it and feeling good about it, because we all know that this saying, as old as time, is so true. Knowledge is power. As long as we have the knowledge, we're equipped with the tools that we need to have and to know to better manage this thing, the better off we are, and there's nothing to fear after that. If we know how to manage this thing and we feel good about it, there's nothing to be scared of. There's nothing to fear about diabetes, because as you'll learn through this guide and through this series, diabetes is all about knowing how to manage it and taking those steps and just trying your best. There's nothing to be scared about. Okay, so that's what this series is for, to rid that fear away from you, to empower you, and to freaking take this thing by the horns, man. We got this. We're going to take you from novice to pro. We're going to start off with the basics, the blood sugar monitoring, the insulins, the lows, the highs, all that good stuff, all the stuff that you need to know to, take care of their diabetes. And then we're going to go into the things that I feel that I wish I knew when I was first diagnosed, and I know that my parents wish that they knew when I was first diagnosed, man. Back then there was no Googling, so we had to read books and we had to figure these things out and ask questions, but I put all of that research, all this experience into one safe little space. So let's get into it, and man, I'm excited. I totally jumped off course, but yeah, we're gonna go through the basics, and then we're gonna go through the things that I wish that I knew when I was younger, and I know that I wish I knew that my parents wish that they knew. Things like going about physical activity in diabetes, how that affects your blood sugar. We're going to talk about the dieting. What can I eat? What can't I eat? What should I stay away from? Am I allowed to have whatever I want as long as I take insulin? We're going to talk about all about that. Excuse me. And then we're going to go into things like, can my child go and participate in sports? Spoiler alert, yes they can. We're going to talk all about how to navigate that, how to go about that, how to safely navigate that. We're going to talk about finding the right endocrinologist for you. It's not just about searching endocrinologists in my area. It's about finding the best one in your area, because having a good endocrinologist can mean the world. It can change the entire course of how you view diabetes. We're going to be talking about how to build a strong relationship with your school nurse, with your child's school nurse, because that can make the world a difference. We're going to be talking about letting your child go to things independently, like letting them go to a sleepover and feel like a normal kid, letting them go to hang out with their friends and not having to hover and worry. We're going to be talking about empowering your child to feel confident about their diabetes, to feel safe to embrace their diabetes, and to be proud of what they have and who they are in this new challenge ahead of us, man. Diabetes in no way, shape, or form has to be scary. Again, like I said, as long as we know what we're doing, as long as we equip ourselves with the knowledge and tools, we're fine. We'll be all right. We'll be fine. And maybe you heard some scary things like, oh man, diabetes can lead to this. That's not true. I mean, it is true if you don't manage it correctly, but that's why we're here. You are here today listening and learning, so that way they don't have to run into any of those complications. As long, I can say this to you so confidently, as long as you take this thing seriously, as long as you manage it, and as long as you do your best to manage it every day, your child will be fine. Okay? Diabetes, a lot of it is just you making the steps to try. A lot of it is just you doing your best to say, okay, my blood sugar was high, right now. Why is that? Okay, because I didn't dose, or because I ate too much, or maybe I need to change my insulin to carb ratio. Whatever it is, sometimes it just takes some reflecting and moving forward, and sometimes that's the best that we can do. Okay, so let's get into this together. I'm excited, and I'm so proud of you for listening and for wanting to learn more to manage this thing. So let's get into it. Last thing I'll say, everything that I'm reading today, everything that I'm going over today is coming directly out of our brand new guide coming out on November 14th, National Diabetes Awareness Day. Our brand new guide, Raising a T1D, the Ultimate Parent's Survival Guide. All of this knowledge, everything that I'm reading, is coming straight out of that guide. And I am not reading every single chapter. I'm going to be reading a good chunk of it. But everything that you need to know from A to Z is going to be in that guide. I suggest you pick it up. It's going to be out. It's going to be coming out in about a month, November 14th. But it's everything that I'm reading today is coming straight from that guide. I spent a lot of time researching. I spent a lot of time putting this stuff together. I spent a lot of time reflecting, thinking about what I wish that I knew. I spent a lot of time posting things on social media, asking our community what they wish that they knew, and then researching that. So there is a lot that went into this guide, and there's a lot that you will get out of this guide. And lastly, but not leastly, picking up one of these guides is a huge support to the Embrace Foundation. If you don't know who we are a nonprofit organization that helps diabetics all across the country get the supplies that they need for absolutely free. We have been around since 2018, and since then we have helped over 2,500 diabetics get the supplies that they need for absolutely free. Okay? So with every purchase of this guide, it goes directly back into the organization and sending out more packages per week. And side note, diabetes and this whole new curveball that life has thrown at you, a lot of financial burdens comes with it. You have new medication, new insulin, testers, all these things that you need to buy. And if you need help, if you are not able to obtain them or afford them yourselves, please reach out to us. Send us a message, fill out a supplies request form, and if we have what you need, we'll send it to you again for absolutely free. So with every purchase of this guide, it goes right back into our organization, man. Okay, so let's get into it. So your child was just diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. Raising a T1D, the Ultimate Parent Survival Guide. This book is dedicated to my mom, Laura. This guide is a testament to the fact that despite it feeling otherwise, everything was going to be okay. Love you, Mom. Again, a quick disclaimer, this guide is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of a qualified healthcare professional with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. The author of this guide, me, is not a healthcare professional and cannot provide medical advice or treatment, although I have lived with diabetes for 20 plus years. Anyways, the information presented in this guide is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon as medical advice. The author of this guide is not liable for any errors or omissions or for any actions you may take based on the information contained on this guide. I know, scary. You might be a little bit skeptical now, but I have to include that. Always take your endocrinologist's advice first, of course. But I have been living with this thing for over 20 years, and this is all my knowledge and experience put into this guide. So, for a second, I don't know if you're driving or doing chores or just sitting and listening, staring at the wall like a psychopath, but I want you to pull over if you're driving. Take a huge deep breath with me. Ready? On 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3. It's okay. They're going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. I want you to say those words out loud, repeat them, and take a deep breath. Let's do it again. It's okay. They're going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. I want you to say those words out loud, repeat them, and take a deep breath. One more deep breath. Man, a diabetes diagnosis can be so scary. It can be. When you see your little one in a situation that you're not aware of, or you're new to, and especially if it regards their health, it can be so scary because all you want to do is grab them and hold on to them forever and protect them from anything whatsoever that is negative. But I promise everything is going to be okay. You are not alone. There are many other parents and families dealing with the same challenges and emotions as you are. When a child is first diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, it's normal for parents to feel scared and worried about their child's future. However, it's important to remember that with proper management, your child can live a healthy and fulfilling life with type 1 diabetes. There are many resources available to help you and your child learn how to manage type 1 diabetes, including healthcare professionals, support groups, and educational materials like this amazing guide. Your child's healthcare team will work closely with you to develop a treatment plan that is tailored to your child's needs and lifestyle. Children are incredibly perceptive and intuitive, and in the face of a new diagnosis, they need a strong and confident leader to guide them through the ups and downs. Let's arm ourselves with knowledge and support so we can empower our little ones to live their best life with type 1 diabetes. I'm going to read that again because I messed up a little bit. Let's arm ourselves with knowledge and support so we can empower our little one to live their best life with type 1 diabetes. Together, we can show this condition who's in charge and tackle any challenges that come our way with determination and optimism. Boom! What to expect. Managing your child's diabetes may seem like a big task, but our guide is here to help you navigate the challenges of diabetes management with ease and confidence. We don't just cover the basics, we also provide tips and tricks to make diabetes management a bit more fun and exciting. We offer advice on finding the right healthcare team, managing complications of diabetes, and navigating daily life situations like sleepovers, dealing with teachers and school nurses, participating in sports, handling emotions like embarrassment about diabetes, and much more. Our guide is designed specifically for parents of newly diagnosed type 1 diabetics. But again, if you are here because you're supporting me or the Embrace Foundation, or you are a person living with type 1 diabetes and want to just learn more and cover the basics, that's totally cool. And if you are a parent with a child that has diabetes who has been living with it for a long time, maybe they're in their 20s and you just want to brush up again, I appreciate you, and you will still learn a lot from going, listening and reading the guide. We'll also help you empower your child to manage their diabetes independently as they grow and mature. After all, type 1 diabetes is a chronic condition that affects millions of people worldwide. But with the right tools and education, you can help your child embrace their diagnosis and live a full and healthy life. We've also enlisted some help from our pal Frederick, and he's got a special message just for you. Side note. So, Throughout the guide, I have these segments called Frederick Wants to Speak to You. So if you don't know already, Frederick is the Embrace Foundation's official mascot. He is a pancreas, and he's here to help. So I wanted to include these little segments that speak directly to your child, because what isn't better than your child being on the same page, than you and your child being on a team, rather than you just leading and them, and them following. You guys are a team. So I wanted to include them in on this. So at the end of most chapters, there are segments where Frederick speaks to your child, and if they're old enough, they can read it themselves, and if they're not, you can throw on a fun voice and read it to them. But this is just so that they can understand what's going on as well. They can feel more confident about everything that's going on. A lot of this stuff is motivational and inspiring to them, so they can get excited about diabetes. I know that's crazy. What? Excited about diabetes? But yes, that's why Frederick is here. He's here to empower and to inspire and to motivate them, and to also let them in on what's going on. But yeah, Frederick wants to speak to you. I heard that you recently received a diabetes diagnosis, and I wanted to be the first to say, welcome to the T1D Club. My name's Frederick, and I'm your awesome pancreas. You see, when you were diagnosed with diabetes, that's when I came to life and became your trusty sidekick. Yep, that's right. I'm your pancreas on the inside, working hard to protect us. I'm doing my best to keep things in balance, but I need your help. So here's the plan. I'll be working hard to produce insulin and help regulate your blood sugar levels, but I need your help too. That means taking care of yourself, eating healthy foods, and taking your medicine when you need to. I can't do this without you. We're a team, you and me. While I handle things inside your body, you've got a super important role outside. Together, we're going to tackle those tricky blood sugars and keep them in check. Remember, even though diabetes can sometimes be a challenge, we've got each other's backs. So let's stay positive, stay strong, and show diabetes who's boss. I believe in you, and I know we can conquer anything that comes our way. You are strong and capable, and you've got this. I'm counting on you. What do you think about my Frederick impression? But, again, this is a side note, not in the guide, but I worked with kids for the past 6-7 years, and for a good chunk of that, I worked with quote-unquote behavioral kids who grew up in not the best situations, kids who didn't grow up in the most loving situations. Maybe they don't have a mom or a dad that is present. Maybe they're in the foster care system. But a lot of these kids were very angry, very emotional, and in this job we would take them, we would watch them over the weekend. We'd teach them how to socialize and how to behave and how to be around other people and how to be out in the community. And with that, I tried a lot of different things, but I remembered the number one thing that always kind of helped, the number one thing that always kind of helped them want to kind of behave, is I'd always ask them for help, and I'd always tell them that I am counting on them and that I am relying on them, and for some reason that always clicked without a doubt. I'd say, hey man, listen, can I use your help bringing the water bottles to the car? I really can't do it alone. I need your help. You're pretty strong. I need your help. And they'd be so excited. They'd love to help. I'd say, hey man, I'd even let them super in on it. I'd be like, hey, I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty stressed out right now. Can you help me kind of, this and that? And they would be so excited to help and to be like an adult for a few minutes. And for the rest of the weekend, they'd be like, hey, what do you need help with? How can I help? Or this and that. So in my opinion, in my experience, I feel like kids naturally want to help. They want to feel like an adult and feel like they are taken seriously and feel like they can be counted on and relied on. And that is kind of my goal for Frederick, beyond keeping them on the same page and things like that. I want them to feel empowered to not only take care of themselves, but take care of this little Frederick guy and use their imagination to be excited about diabetes if they can. Like I said, man, I feel like they like to help and they want to help, and I'm hoping that this works for you. If it doesn't, I'm sorry, but I feel like it'll help and it'll get them excited about it. And I can just imagine them getting excited. Oh, I gotta take my insulin. Frederick's counting on me, or I gotta test my blood sugar. I don't want to let him down. I could totally see that happening, and I hope that helps, and I hope that works for you. But yeah, that is part 1 of the parenting masterclass. But don't leave yet. I'm going to read the intro for the next chapter, the next segment that we're going to be going over next week. But first, I wanted to thank you again for listening, for supporting. I want to thank you and tell you that I'm proud of you for taking that extra step to learn more, to better manage yours or your child's diabetes. Again, everything coming out of this series is coming straight out of our guide, coming out November 14th. There will be an audiobook version of that, but it's not going to come out probably for a while. I'm going to have my mom actually do the voiceover for that. She helped me put this book together, so I want her to do the reading for it, and I'm going to jump in and do the voice acting for Frederick, so that should be pretty fun. But the ebook and the physical copies are going to be out November 14th. So without further ado, let's get into the outro for this episode and the intro to next week's episode. Understanding the basics. Type 1 diabetes is a chronic condition in which the body doesn't produce enough insulin. Insulin is a hormone that regulates blood sugar levels, so without enough insulin, blood sugar levels can become dangerously high, which can lead to various complications. So what does that mean for me and my child? What does the new normal look like for us, and what can I expect? To put it plainly, you will now be taking over as the pancreas. It is your responsibility to take the pancreas's responsibilities. Primarily, that comes down to 3 essential things: checking your blood sugar, using that information to determine whether you need to take some insulin or ingest some carbs, and doing your best to keep that blood sugar in a healthy range. It may seem overwhelming at first, but with time and practice, you and your child will become experts at managing type 1 diabetes. Trust me, before you know it, you'll be looking at your child so proud of how well they are doing with this curveball life has thrown at you. So take a deep breath, embrace the challenge, and get ready to help your child thrive with type 1 diabetes. Thank you so much for listening to episode 1 of the Parenting Masterclass series. I'm excited to get into this with you, and I will see you here next week, same time, same bat channel, Wednesday at 6 p.m. to be going over blood sugar monitoring, the importance of changing your Lancet, how to go about properly testing your blood sugar, and again, more tips, tricks, and advice along the way with some cameos from Frederick. Again, thank you so much. I appreciate every listen. And I appreciate your support. Appreciate you. See you next week.
Thanks for listening to another great episode of the Embrace Podcast. You can follow Embrace on Instagram at Embrace3Movement or on TikTok at Embrace3. If you or someone you know has diabetes and needs supplies, you can visit their website at theembracefoundation.org and fill out a supplies request form. We'll see you back here every other Wednesday for a fresh new episode of the show. Until then, embrace, endure, and overcome diabetes. You are not alone.